Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply, it's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
Welcome back to another episode of Superhuman Radio. You probably saw me scratching at that. I rode the motorcycle today. Maybe a bird crapped on me. Look at that. I didn't notice it before. We have a fascinating interview today. The first hour, we're going to be rejoined by my good friend, George Touliatos, who's been a frequent guest on the show over the years, to talk about carotid artery disease, plaque buildup in the carotid artery, or arteries, excuse me. Under 50, the prevalence of this in men and women is around 0.5%, but over 50, it starts to climb. And as you get closer to your 70s and 80s, it could be as much as 10% of the male population. Women seem to develop it a little bit less frequently. We'll talk about what his opinion on that is, the correlation between men and women. But back in the day, my father was diagnosed with it. Well, he's passed a long time now. But they wanted to do surgery. They went in and they wanted to kind of Roto-Rooter process on the carotid artery. And he chose not to do it because the risk of stroke was huge, because some of the plaque could break off and travel right to the brain. It's right there, boom. Or you experience something called reperfusion. You know, your brain has been running with 50% of the blood flow, and then all of a sudden you open it up, and that causes damage to the brain, that inrush of blood. And so he opted not to do it. But, I think that part of my father's, let's just say, not dementia. Yeah, dementia was because of this. I think it had a lot to do with the lack of appropriate blood flow to his brain that as he aged. And so it's very important. It's a disease that causes lots of problems for those who suffer from it. And Dr. George Touliatos, who is a critical thinker, looked at his diagnosis and said, I'm going to do something. I'm going to try something. I'm going to try something counterintuitive and aggressive. And sure enough, the change in the carotid artery in just 4 weeks, the plaque, the stenosis, was dramatic. And it's worth talking about. So we're going to talk about it today. Later in the show, we're going to be joined by Robert Patton. He's a sponsor of the show, Sheath Underwear. I love them. I wear them. And we're going to talk about the new underwear that are coming out from Sheath. And then after that, I'm going to do a monologue. And today's monologue is going to be on chemtrails. So you want to stay tuned for that. I promise I'm probably going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. But, I can't ignore stupidity without having an opinion on it. I want to thank our title sponsor, Legendary Foods, makers of the Tasty Pastry. I'm sure you've tried them by now. Try them again. They're delicious. They come in a variety of fantastic flavors, less than 1 gram of sugar, 20 grams of high-quality protein, 4 to 5 net carbs. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use the code SHR10 to let them know that you learned about them on Superhuman Radio. Without further delay, the magic happens. Hey, George, how you doing?
Hello, Carl. Thanks for having me.
George, I got a comment. You look better than you've ever looked right now. I mean,
I lost weight,
No, but it's not just the weight loss. Your face looks good. You look healthy. You
Yeah.
look happy.
I'll tell you my secret. Yeah.
Okay, what's your secret? You got a new girlfriend?
Apart from this, I'm following, replacement therapy, and I believe that the best replacement therapy is adding different variety of hormones. That if you lack of them, then numerous diseases appear, including cardiovascular as well. By the way, speaking about the topic, thank you for inviting me to share my story. And I don't want to mislead people that say, "Oh, now that you're controversial to the modern cardiology," and they say that an atherosclerotic plaque cannot be reversed, but only solidified if it's a soft plaque to a calcified plaque. But in my case, I have a huge ego about my health because I'm a freak. I'm a health freak, and I'm taking tons of supplementation. I'm eating the best quality organic food every day, I watch my diet. I train, of course, 365. So my first carotid ultrasound scan, triplex, was 2017 with all clear, of course. And back in 2017, I had already started my replacement therapy. 2 years. I retired from bodybuilding in 2013, and the steroid abuse stopped back then. And I wanted to see how it's going. So I went to the clinic I'm working with for the replacement therapy. And, she told me, the radiologist, that I can see a little bit of 1.8 millimeters of a soft plaque in the internal carotid that goes into the brain. We have that divides in the external for the face and the internal for the brain inside the skull. So I said, I said, damn, I was panicked. I was really, it affected me a lot, So I said, I'm going to do something about this, I'm going to start something really radical. So I started taking 2 different medications in order to crash my lipids. So the first one is a very friendly statin for the muscle guys, is the rovastatin Crestor, the lowest dose, 5 milligrams.
Crestor,
the 5 milligrams, the rovastatin, yes. And the other was the Zetia, a new, a modern drug, ezetimibe, the medication that resembles the fibrates that affects the triglycerides and the HDL.
right? And it's not a cholestatin, right? Yeah.
No. So on top of that, I manufacture a formula in Greece that I give it to my patients. They don't want to take statins. They take my formula, and it works super effective with 6 ingredients, but it's a supplement. So I have niacin, red white yeast that work like a statin, plant-based statin, without the side effects of the soreness. Polycosanol, which is a glycoprotein improving the lipid profile. Phytosterols, phytoestrogens that improve also the atherosclerotic index. Resveratrol, major antioxidant, and anti-aging, it avoids the oxidation of the lipids. And bergamot, citrus bergamot, that is able also to lower cholesterol.
Interesting, because bergamot used to be a fragrance back in the old days.
Also, we eat it, in Greece and in Italy, we eat it, this like a dessert.
Yes.
So on a daily basis, I had salmon with vegetables, and after each meal, I was taking 1 cashews, 1 macadamia, 1 walnut, 1 almond, every kind of seeds, with my meals. I was eating a lot of sardines, and salmon and truth, tons of olive oil as well, and also I was taking pycnogenol that improves the blood vessels, yes. And of course, I was doing at least 30 minutes of cardio every day, so 3.5 hours per week at least. So I said, what the heck, this should work.
Right.
So 4 weeks, man, I took the blood test before repeating again the ultrasound. So my LDL dropped down to 30. It was my personal best low. It was totally crushed, And actually, cardiologists believe that a plaque cannot be synthesized, cannot be formed when LDL is below 50. My total cholesterol was 9,500. My triglycerides were around 50 or something, and my HDL was boosted up to 50. It's my personal best. So my atherosclerotic index was 2. So it's the total cholesterol divided by the HDL. But I have to tell you, I had extreme soreness in my legs. I could not recover within 24 hours, even though I'm taking 100 milligrams of testosterone, twice use of GH all year round, and 25 milligrams of Proviron, as my HRT plus DHEA plus pregnenolone, I was not able to recover, extremely soreness in my quads, so I said, okay, I'm going to take this risk, but I want to see what's going on inside here. So I went to I checked the radiologist. I went to another medical center, and she told me, man, you look totally clear. I mean, what the heck is going on with you? You're complaining of having something, but I don't see anything. So it's 0.9 millimeters, which is within the optimal range of the endothelium. So I said, either the first one was wrong, or I managed to reverse it.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, it was 50% from 18 millimeters down to 0.9. Completely the half, And I went to the first radiologist now 3 days ago, and I told her that, you were wrong, or I managed to reverse it, and she was really impressed.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to say. But Carl, I have to tell you that I quit from the medications because I'm a bodybuilder. I want to train, and I felt really crappy. Like, oh man, I couldn't stand up from the bed when I wake up.
You were probably suffering from a mild case of rhabdomyolysis, right? Would you agree with that?
This affects the liver, because liver, muscles, and heart also have the same receptors for ALT, AST. Also, it depletes the Q10 levels that provides energy to the mitochondria of the myocytes in the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to take the super expensive ubiquinol, which is a burst, the very best, the finest part of Q10. Okay. Right. And also, it elevates A1C. Yes, it can give you pre-diabetes and diabetes type 2, prolonged abuse of status if you don't eat so clean, And we know that.
I don't want to pass this by. This is an important discussion. So you go to your doctor, and he says, I don't like your cholesterol numbers. I'm going to put you on a very low dose of a statin.
No, my brother-in-law, we said, let's do something. Let's try this test, my lipids were fine. I'm taking my formula, and my LDL is 2 digital with my formula, okay? If I stop my formula, it goes up to 110, 120.
But no, what I wanted to point out was the average person goes to their doctor, and their doctor says your cholesterol is high. I'm going to put you on a statin drug. And then after being on that statin drug, usually the statin drug it works, but then the cholesterol starts to creep up because the body doesn't want the suppression of cholesterol. So it finds ways to make more. And then what happens is you start going to your doctor, and the doctor says, man, your blood sugar's starting to get high. I'm going to put you on metformin.
And another thing, your testosterone goes down.
The reason that their blood sugar is getting high is because of the statin drug. It's a side effect of taking statins.
And also, T goes down because you don't synthesize testosterone out of cholesterol to another guy, okay?
Right. That's
and
right.
Low testosterone equals diabetes.
So, statin drugs are insidious. Now you hear what George is saying. He used them as a rescue measure. He didn't say, I'm going to live with this kind of cholesterol levels, because that's a bad idea. But to rescue, to change the outcome, to change the plaque in his carotid artery, he did this, and it's aggressive what he did, lowering it that much. but you can't stay on that protocol forever.
Yeah, but listen, if you have ischemia, if you're a candidate for a stent, you should take this for life, you know.
Of course, and I'm not disagreeing with that. If you are rushed to the hospital and they say, "Wow, you got like an 80% blockage," you can't go home because you'll end up stroking. So you
But
have
now,
to do something.
there's a new medication called PCSK9 for the muscle guys that it's injectable, it's super expensive. And it bypasses, these pathways that affect the muscles and therefore also the liver, and is way more effective crushing on the LDL, even though you're eating your junk, And many people that can afford it are using this, and they can still train, So it's the new generation of medication.
Well, and there's another thing I want to inject, no pun intended, but the research on melanotan 2 and its ability to reverse plaque, even calcified plaque, is really being ignored. And so when you look at people who live in sunny climates, they tend to have less arteriosclerotic plaque. And when you stimulate the melanocortin system, one of the things that it does is it reduces both the inflammation in the intima, but it also makes the intima cause to remove the plaque itself, to devour the plaque.
Intima is the inner layer.
What's that?
Intima is the muscular layer. Yes.
Yeah. So what athletes can do, what people can do, if you take a very small amount of melanotan 2, because melanotan 2 is 1,000 times stronger than the melanocortin stimulating hormone in your body. If you take very low doses of melanotan 2, I'm talking 20 micrograms a day, you won't get tan. You will get tan over the course of a month or two. You'll start tanning. But what you will do is you will inhibit the formation of plaque and reverse the plaque buildup over time. This is not discussed in the literature for some reason. I don't understand why.
Yeah, I know that melanotan is notorious for getting tan in order to avoid the UV radiation. You know that in skin cancer, of course. And actually, some people tell me that it's really sexually arousing and improves your sex drive dramatically, your libido.
Yes, it does. It does. But
yes,
there's a blog post on my website, on the Superhuman Radio website, that's about 8 or 9 years old, where I talk about the study that they did, that they showed that after just 8 months of melanotan 2 therapy, the observable plaque was gone in the subject. So it's really, really very impressive. So Richard Miller has a question for you. He says, so I can lower my calcium CAC score and reverse heart disease. So many docs I know say this is impossible. And you said that at the beginning.
This is true. Yes. And I'm gonna tell you now next. So doctors say that it's more likely to have a stenosis in your coronaries in case your carotids, that are larger arteries, are narrowed, okay? Are narrowed. So because the carotids are way more narrow than the coronaries, way more narrow than the carotids. So I had my calcium score, and actually my coronography was with CT scan, tons of radiation, by the way. It was my fourth, the last 8 years. It was all clear. It was 0, the calcium score. But you have to know that the calcium score speaks about the calcified plaque and not about the soft plaque, which is the bad scenario. So the calcified plaque is the solidified one that cannot be detached. It's just a little bit of stenosis. But unlike the soft plaque, which is full of cholesterol, atheroma, this yellowish thing, apart from narrowing, it can detach and clog and form an embolus.
Right.
So speaking about this, this guy is correct, because cardiology says that you cannot lower your calcium score, but you can turn your plaque, your soft one, into a solid, Okay, and all this will avoid the bad scenario of detaching and going for an embolus, and ischemic effect. But I know a bodybuilder was used to compete in the 80s at the Mr. Olympia. He had a calcium score in his 50s, his late 50s. He's taking the Repatha, and he told me that his cardiologist assured him that within 18 months you're going to reverse your calcium score. Of course, Repatha is not affordable by many people. It's around $1,000 a month. But true, even my brother-in-law tells me that no, if you have a plaque, you're going to turn it to a stable one, and you're not going to reverse it. But I don't know. I guess mine this a little bit of protrusion I had in my internal carotid was able to step back. It was not. Besides, my calcium score was 0. I had not progressive calcium score.
Right. And so it was just really localized to the carotid artery, and that's it.
Yes, and even the first radiologist said it's not pathological that much. It does not lead to stenosis. Do you remember John Crisper used to say that we cannot live without cholesterol? And
no, of course not.
Yeah, the bad scenario is the oxidation of cholesterol. So don't get paranoid.
No, in fact, there's 2 studies by the University of Hawaii that show that they followed people from 60 to 80 years old in the study, and those with the highest cholesterol levels lived the longest, and those with the lowest cholesterol levels died of all-cause mortality the soonest. So the whole cholesterol is evil doesn't look at inflammation. It looks at cholesterol, but it doesn't look at inflammation's role in making cholesterol sticky and stick to arteries.
Yeah, it can lead to stenosis. That's all. It's blood flow.
So, Corwin McLeod is asking, is this good for getting rid of blood clots? Your protocol?
Well, this is good in order to improve your lipids, and atherogenesis, which is the creation of a plaque, and atheromatosis and atherosclerosis is hardening of the arteries, along with the atheromatotic plaque, along with smoking, blood pressure. Stimulants, high intensity training will improve will improve your chances of avoiding the formation of a plaque, and a calcium score. Now, the blood clots have to do with coagulation. A critical thing is to use the DHA-EPA. I use krill oil, which is the best form of omega-3. I keep my homocysteine single digit because deep venous thrombosis and pulmonary embolism are associated with high homocysteine. How you lower this? You stop steroids, you stop smoking, you take TMG, cobalamin, and folic acid.
And creatine. And homocysteine is made in the process of our bodies making creatine. If you take 5 grams of creatine a day, your homocysteine levels will go to 0 because your body is not making the creatine anymore. It's really interesting.
Yes. And blood clots, of course, it's more easier if you have stasis. You don't move, you don't follow cardio. And of course, a higher hemoglobin, along with blood pressure, has more chances. That's why I'm taking also aspirin and fish oil. Avoid snoring. If you have sleep apnea, it also elevates, creates
right. Because that elevates a protein called D-dimer, which
D-dimers actually they calculate and they assess them the doctors under pulmonary embolism. The D-dimers elevate.
Right. But the other thing to consider is the value of taking high dose fish oil. We were talking about this off the air. I take 8 grams of fish oil a day.
Oh, that's a lot, man.
I know, and that's why I cut my finger and it wouldn't stop bleeding. The blood wasn't dripping out; it was running out like a faucet.
Imagine if you have this inside your body. You're screwed.
I had to use crazy glue on my thumb to get it to stop bleeding. So I took off. I haven't taken fish oil now in almost July 4th, so a month. a month, and I've given myself off, and I will go back to it. But I was taking fish oil, baby aspirin, and white willow bark. All of these have a blood thinning effect, and when you take them all together, it makes your blood very thin.
By the way, cardiologists recommend to avoid the greens and the leafy vegetables because they contain vitamin K.
Right, K. But what are you going to do? I mean, you need those. You need vitamin K, especially K.
Of course.
You're taking vitamin D. Let's do this. Let's take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we have some other questions loading up, and we'll go deeper into this discussion. George, what is your website that people can go to?
Yeah, it's behind me, gtou.com, you know?
Yeah, gtoul.com. For George G. Touliatos is T-O-U-L. So gtoul.com. You can learn more about George there. And we're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more Superhuman Radio. Are you suffering from signs of an unhappy gut? Diversity is the key to healthy, robust inner ecosystem. Body Ecology probiotic liquids are made by fermenting organic seeds, biodynamic brown rice, and chickpeas together to create a diverse culture found nowhere else on Earth. It's the secret to restoring your gut's microbiome for a healthier digestive tract, improved immune function, and longevity. Take 20% off by visiting the website shrnetwork.biz/bodyeco. shrnetwork.biz/bodyeco. That's BODYECO. And using the code SHR20. Are you 35 or older? Every year after puberty, your growth hormone decreases sometimes by 50% by the age of 35, and it only keeps going down from there. This affects everything from making it harder to recover from workouts, sleep, and a general loss of a sense of well-being. It also affects your ability to get and stay lean. BioPro Plus is the first of its kind, 100% non-synthetic alternative to prescription synthetic growth hormone treatments. All the benefits without any of the needles or side effects and 100% safe. Previously only available through doctors, you can go to shrnetwork.biz/biopro, that's BIOPRO, and use code SHR30 for $30 off today.
New Mass Pro Synthogen X2 just upped its own legendary game. To distance itself even further from the rest of the pack, Synthogen X2 now has double the key active ingredients. If you've ever wondered what steroid-like recovery feels like, Synthogen X2 delivers. See why others compare it favorably to powerful bodybuilding drugs at synthogen.com. Mass Pro Synthogen. When you train with it, you'll gain with it.
Never before has a product been so appropriately named as Botanic Tonics Feel Free. This plant-based elixir combines a variety of different effective compounds, all from raw plant materials that at different doses provide you with completely different experiences. A third of a bottle puts you in the zone and makes you very focused and is ideal for a non-stimulating pre-workout. It also has a mild analgesic effect for us older lifters who have soreness and little pains and aches that keep us from training as ferociously as we want. A half a bottle will create a mild euphoric effect that will allow you to forego consuming alcohol but still be socially lubricated and have fun. I have never had a product deliver on its name the way Botanic Tonics Feel Free does, and I won't ever be without it, and you shouldn't either. Go to shrnetwork.biz/feelfree and use the code SHR40 for 40% off your first order. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. The Hercules Pre-Workout from Lost Empire Herbs is like no pre-workout you have ever had before. Completely natural formula designed specifically to optimize workouts, provide quicker recovery time, provide adequate nutrition, and get you away from all those no-good, overstimulating pre-workout supplements on the market today. The Hercules Pre-Workout blend is a mix of extracted natural herbs and mineral pitch. No fake colors, no added flavors, nothing else. Not only will Hercules Pre-Workout formula help your workouts, but you'll likely discover lots and lots of side effects, beneficial side effects. Go to shrnetwork.biz/lostempire today to learn more. Being superhuman means being conscientious about the choices we make. White Oak Pastures is superhuman when it comes to raising livestock. They're committed to animal welfare, land regeneration, and rural revival. They responsibly manage the entire process from the pasture to your doorstep. High quality, pasture-raised, great-tasting meat from a farm you can trust. Full nose-to-tail selections. They even have options for your pet. Go to shrnetwork.biz/white oak and use the code SUPERHUMAN to save 10% off your entire first order.
You're listening to the Superhuman Channel. We're ripped and we're ready.
Welcome back. We're talking with Dr. George Touliatos about how this one instance that he was able to reverse the carotid artery plaque buildup in his neck. And, it opens the discussion. I love when science says you can't do something, and then a couple years later we find out you can. This idea that, you can't reverse plaque once it's calcified. I remember when they said you couldn't regrow cartilage when you destroyed the cartilage in your knee, and then we see intra-articular growth hormone injections doing exactly that, completely regrowing the meniscus in the knee from nothing, from bone on bone, because if you look at bodybuilders and you look at acromegalia, there's always, when they use high doses of growth hormone, like ridiculous 5, 10, 15 IUs a day, they get joint crowding because that tissue grows first under the influence of growth hormone. And this idea that, you have to have a knee replacement, you can never regrow cartilage, has been disproven now by numerous doctors. So this idea that you can't make the calcified plaque go away is obviously not true, because there's studies out there that show non-pharmacological products like melanotan 2 doing exactly that. And what you did is remarkable. I mean, don't forget, you did everything. It wasn't just those 2 pharmaceutical drugs. Those 2 pharmaceutical drugs had an effect, but it's your lifestyle, and it's your lifestyle that causes the plaque to grow in the first place.
Well, I have to tell you, I was a bodybuilder who was abusing, and I was abusing nandrolone, and also I add a little bit of nandrolone for my joints, but less than 50 milligrams per week. And theoretically, nandrolone can increase the calcium reabsorption in the renal tubules, that allegedly this can form some calcification, in the arteries. That's why you should take D3K2 instead of D3 monodose in order to direct the calcium towards the bone tissue. But speaking about the joints, the stem cell therapy can create any kind of tissue out of the stem cells. And also the PRP, which is injection of growth factors it can create, new cartilage, new connective tissue. Also with IGF-1 that improves the chondroblasts, the primitive cells that form the connective tissue. But, even supplementation in medicine with those secretagogues that are not known, and very friendly to the doctors, to the old-fashioned doctors, are making miraculous things, And
So my current protocol is 600 milligrams of testosterone cypionate and 150 milligrams of decadurabolin. I've abandoned all orals. I was playing around with some Anavar for a while, but do you think that that's a reckless dose for me?
Well, Carl, if you were my patient, I have some cases of people over 50s that initially they start doing TRT and HRT, but this is about optimization, being within range. But it's another philosophy stepping on those medications like a cycle. I prefer, for instance, myself not to have, let's say, a Christmas tree in my back, but be free from calcium score, or any other thing. So, you need to understand that the cycles deviate from the optimization to the lipids, to the hemoglobin, to the liver enzymes, to the blood pressure. So I would say stick with 200 milligrams and 50 milligrams of nandrolone.
Okay.
Take a calcium score, and take an ultrasound in your carotids. And also you can use two IUs of GH, and stay on this track. You can take all this all year around.
Right.
Okay.
You mentioned another drug a little while ago that you like. I can't think of what it is now. You just mentioned it.
Steroid Proviron.
Proviron.
Yeah,
right?
You don't have this in the States, but yet you can use DHT cream. It's bioidentical, liposomal. You can apply it over here or in your balls. That tanks the SHBG, liberates the free testosterone. You feel fantastic, cognitive function, self-esteem. You feel more of a man, clear thoughts. It kills the foggy mind. But if you have the genetic predisposition for male pattern baldness, and also, yes, theoretically, the DHT can feed the prostate and cause BPH. But BPH is another thing out of cancer. Prostate cancer is another story.
The Europeans used to have a gynecomastia cream that was a DHT cream that they used to say
because it has an estrogenic effect.
Yeah.
And also, what else creates gyno is by blocking the DHT, it increases the estradiol. You block the one metabolite of testosterone, you increase the other one. So taking finasteride too much, you're going to have some gyno and puffiness.
Oh,
yes.
But gyno is stimulated by more than just one pathway, right?
Gyno is estrogen dependent, it's prolactin dependent, IGF-1 dependent, low DHT as well. Okay, if you lack of DHT, you take DHT and you suck up it works anti-estrogenically,
So
it's the ratio testosterone to estradiol. So if you have 500 testosterone and 3 digital estradiol, the proportion is not good. Now, if you have 2,000 testosterone and 100 estradiol, it's still proportional,
Right. I'm a low aromatizer. Even with the highest doses that I've ever used of testosterone, my estradiol was never more than 40.
It has to do with the visceral fat, with caffeine, with soy, and with alcohol as well.
Really?
Yes.
You said caffeine.
Caffeine, too much of caffeine. Yeah, Dr. Hertog in Brussels, he's the best anti-aging in the world, says too much of caffeine can aromatize.
Oh, interesting. That's very interesting.
A little bit of coffee can reverse non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, but too much of it, You said you quit from coffee.
Yeah, but I started drinking it again because I wasn't sleeping well. I've got a lot of work. I'm running two companies right now, and my stress is high. And
you think green tea is as good as coffee? Green tea is as good.
No, it doesn't. I need something stronger. But I'm only drinking coffee, and I'm drinking it early in the morning. But I know I have this love-hate relationship with coffee. My life doesn't let me do away with it right now.
Yeah, it's the cognitive stimulus that it gives you.
I have to. I have to be awake. I have to be alive. I have to have a memory. When I do this show, if I didn't have a podcast where I have to show up and be semi-intelligent, I could go through the withdrawal of caffeine.
What about pre-workout at the gym? You need coffee to work out?
No. I train in the morning fasted and with nothing.
It's your cortisol that keeps you,
Yeah, probably. But it's just, and it may be a false reliance. I think I need coffee before I get on the air.
It's not a placebo, but yeah, you need one. But too much of it, perhaps it can disrupt your sleep, and this,
so then for my sleep, I use Delta 8 CBD, which is legal in the United States. It's a form of THC, but it's not the Delta 9, and it makes me sleepy.
I'm taking melatonin, 5-HTP, GABA, and magnesium, stacking all of it.
I take melatonin. I take 9 milligrams at night. Listen to this. This is what I do. I take a half of a gummy of Delta 8. I take 9 milligrams of melatonin. I take 350 milligrams of magnesium glycinate in a drink with 5 grams of glycine, and then I have a shot that I take right before bed. It's 50 IUs of oxytocin. It's 25 micrograms of GHRP6, 25 micrograms of CJC 1295, and 1 IU of growth hormone. And
but why are you taking the secretagogue and growth hormone together?
Because my logic is that that growth hormone would never just show up in your blood by itself without
the IGF-1 elevates, yes.
Yeah, I feel like it's more appropriate. You wouldn't have growth hormone in your bloodstream if you didn't have a somatostatin inhibitor and some sort of growth hormone releasing hormone. So I put them all together, and it works. I sleep when I do that. I sleep like all night long. I don't wake up to even pee.
Really? Eh? That's good.
And I don't wake up groggy. I go right downstairs. I have my ARX machine. I'm training. You know, I was telling Elisa just this morning.
Do you snore?
No. The ARX machine is so strenuous of training that in half hour, 40 minutes, I am exhausted. And it takes me a little while to recover from that. The ARX machine allows you to, every single rep is a 1 rep maximum. And I'm doing a 5x5 routine with it. And my body is I can't tell you how much muscle I'm putting on so fast.
But it stimulates the nervous system mainly?
Well, you know, it's not weights. It's a 25 horsepower motor that you're working against. And so it gives you everything you got in the concentric, but then it gives you everything you can handle in the eccentric. So every single rep is torturous, and it's slow. 7 seconds up, 7 seconds down. It's really grueling, George. And I've been using that exclusively. And what I look like right now is remarkable. I have a picture that I keep handy for this, but here, look. That's about a month ago. And don't forget, I'm 64 years old.
Yeah, your forearms look really jacked, you know.
Oh, my forearms, my upper arms, my shoulders. My shoulders have never, ever been this broad, this wide, from front to back. Never. And it's this machine, I'm telling you, it makes a big difference. But I'm gonna lower my dose. I am. It'll be cheaper too. I'm gonna go down to 250 test and 50 deca.
And better, Carl, split it into 2 doses instead of 1 mega dose.
Yeah.
Break it down in 2 doses Monday and Thursday, so it gets steadily to the system.
Yeah, so you don't have that.
You don't spike on the metabolites, you know.
Let's take our last commercial break, and we will wrap up this interview with Dr. George Touliatos. Stay with us. I would easily say that I am the hugest proponent you will ever meet to doing anything that will improve the quality of my sleep. And that's because sleep is linked to just about every metabolic disorder we see in our population today. One of the easiest things you can do to improve the quality of your sleep is to get a pillow that can be shaped into the exact form factor that allows you to get your best night's sleep. And that is MyPillow. I've been sleeping with MyPillow for a few years now, and I can tell you that when I have to travel and stay in hotels, I don't get a good night's sleep because I don't have MyPillow with me. Right now, you can save up to 60% off of everything offered to improve the quality of your sleep at shrnetwork.biz/mypillow when you use the code SHR. Or you can call toll-free 800-889-4938. And remember to use code SHR to save up to 60% off of everything at their website.
Dogs should be powered by fat and protein, not carbs. That's why Visionary Pet makes low-carb, ketogenic dog food for dogs of all breeds and life stages. From kibble to freeze-dried and even low-carb treats, all Visionary Pet recipes are very low-carb, ketogenic, and made with 100% real meat protein. Shop now and use code SHR for 20% off your first order today. Your dog deserves the lifelong benefits of optimal nutrition. Make the switch to Visionary and see why smart dogs eat low carb.
GHKCU is one of the most effective peptides for rebuilding more youthful skin, reversing skin damage, diminishing wrinkles, and tightening loose skin. I personally use Restoracell with GHKCU every day. It's making an undeniable difference in the quality of my skin. Restoracell is fantastic for all types of skin. Now you can order Restoracell and save 25% when you use the code SHR25. That's SHR25. While you may be diligent in your workouts and your diet, don't neglect what people see first and foremost, and that's your skin. Go to shrnetwork.biz/blue and use code SHR25 today. Remember those rectangular toaster pastries you used to love when you were a kid? Well, Legendary Foods has just made them better. The new cake-style tasty pastry is like nothing you've ever had before. With 20 grams of high-quality protein and less than 1 gram of sugar, you'll feel like you're cheating, but you're not. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use the code SHR10 to save 10% off your purchase of tasty pastries. Now available in cookies and cream, red velvet cake, birthday cake, blueberry, strawberry, brown sugar cinnamon, and hot fudge sundae. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use code SHR10 today. There have been no new innovations in men's underwear for hundreds of years. That's all about to change with Sheath. Sheath creates 2 separate compartments for your man stuff so it doesn't get smashed into a mound and sweaty and stinky. I won't wear any other underwear now that I've learned about Sheath, and you won't either. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Sheath underwear. That's SHEATHUNDERWEAR. Use code SUPERHUMAN to save 20% off. I promise you, once you try a pair of Sheath underwear, you will never wear anything else. P3OM from Bioptimizers is a patented prebiotic and probiotic supplement with Lactobacillus plantarum OM. It has now been upgraded to P3OM 2.0 with the addition of a superfood formulation that makes it 2 times stronger, as well as optimizes L. plantarum's strength, so it's more powerful than ever, which means that not only will it help you completely digest all animal proteins, it also reduces cortisol, causes deep relaxation and better sleep, and reduces stress. Go to shrnetwork.biz/P3-OM today and use the code SHR10 to save 10% off.
Move over, superheroes. This is the Superhuman Channel.
Welcome back. We're talking with Dr. George Touliatos. We're talking about a lot of stuff. So earlier in the show, I said that there seems to be a disparity between carotid artery disease in men and women. Women seem to be less affected by it. Do you think it's just because of men's lifestyles, or do you think there's something unique about the genders that leads to
I think
this?
it's the cardioprotective role of estrogens and the lack of androgens.
Yeah.
Androgens lower HDL that clears the arteries. Estrogens elevate the HDL that clears the arteries, and of course it improves also LDL. But we men live lower than women for cardiovascular perspective because of that. And women postmenopausal, they have the same rate of cardiovascular disease with men. And nowadays women smoke as well, So it's becoming equal,
Estradiol is anti-inflammatory. And that's another thing, the inflammation, the link between inflammation and arterial plaque is not discussed often enough. What are your beliefs about the role of inflammation at actually being the first domino to leading to?
Well, cardiologists say if you have atherogenesis, too much of cholesterol that is oxidized, the LDL, the bad cholesterol that clogs the arteries, then you have triggering of inflammation. From a theory perspective, I know that estrogens are cardioprotective. They protect the endothelium, which is a separate organ. Endothelium is able to increase the permeability and produce nitric oxide. And that provides oxygen to the tissues. And endothelium also is disrupted under smoking, of course. That triggers the platelet aggregation. But tanking and crashing on estradiol in bodybuilding with aromatase inhibitors in order to look leaner crashes on HDL, and then you have issues with your thermometric index,
Right. So did you see, George, that the women competitors are starting a health division? Did you see that?
And what, how you say?
No, the bodybuilder. So female bodybuilders,
Well,
they have
yes.
the wellness. They're starting
Yeah,
the wellness.
Yarisha and Borges, the Portuguese, the Brazilian, and the Puerto Rican. Yes, very round, Latino style.
Yeah, an Italian style. I mean that's what a lot
Very
of your.
curvy. Yes.
So will that category really focus on health, or is it just
Well,
a
it's
new
more feminine, definitely. It's more
Right.
feminine, more round. I mean, women are supposed to be curvy because of the estrogens. But perhaps in professional sports, they use other methods in order to look more round. Artificial stuff like MCTs or synthol, whatever, or silicone.
plants? Yeah.
But it definitely looks more feminine to me, rather than this dry look.
But wasn't that the purpose of the bikini division? Now the
More
bikini.
mainstream, definitely more mainstream, more
But
appealing
what
to
happened?
the average.
It keeps leading to more women being harder looking and more muscular. Why didn't the bikini division stay with that?
Well, the bikini has to be small, lean, but not so hard, because they're gonna be they get penalty for this if you are super dry and ripped. This is physique or bodybuilding, so bikini has to be like a Sport Illustrated cover, for instance.
Right.
Okay.
But I guess what I'm concerned about is they're using this division, the wellness division, as a name that implies health. That health is more important than aesthetics, but they're just using that name to create a softer, more feminine. Why don't they call it
Yeah,
the
you
more?
got a point on that.
Yeah, why? Because if you're going to call it the wellness division, then blood work should be part of your. Back in the day, compulsory lifts were part of bodybuilding. So it was how good you looked and how strong you were, and then Joe Weider weeded that out. No pun intended. But if we're going to call it the wellness division, then they should look at markers of wellness and look at cholesterol levels and hormone levels and all this other stuff and say, oh, you get a certain number of points for passing the wellness blood test, and then you get a certain number of points. No, really, because it's bullshit. If you call it wellness and they're still using the same drugs, but not to the extent, or they're just not getting as lean, but they're not focusing on wellness.
Yeah, they don't look that freaky, They look feminine. I would date them,
Yeah, of course. I understand completely, and I always appreciated female competitors in the off season because that's when they look the best, in my opinion. For that reason.
Absolutely.
George, you have any upcoming events? Any lectures, speaking
Yes,
engagements?
I was invited at the Olympia Educational in December in Las Vegas, So I'll be there also, and the same occurs for next year of the Arnold 2023. So we do these educational seminars that are based on steroid culture, replacement therapy, harm reduction on steroids, and Rick Collins also is a big part of this. Eric Serrano, Bill Welling was 2019 also. Yeah, and I think next year it comes also the anabolics, the new edition. But I'm really excited going again to the Olympia. So it will be December 15th.
Very, very good. Excellent. And don't you have a podcast with Muscular Development, or is that?
Yes, I have. Yesterday it was the episode 175. It's 3 years now. I have also the monthly column in the magazine. I was in last month editorial. I had a photo shooting. Yeah, they promote my books. And actually, I have to tell to the audience that you are the first one to open the door to me internationally because you hosted me in 2015. It was 7 years ago. I was really excited. We spoke about the TRT. I was on the phone back then and Skype. It was a lousy connection. I remember my English were way more, more, they have improved now. So, and we met actually afterwards, you and Alicia, the Arnold.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was, I know. Well, I recognize talent. You know what I mean?
Huh?
I recognize talented people.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to see you again because we have the same roots. You know, you're from Italy, I'm from Greece. You're a fan of Mediterranean diet.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, when I look back at so most podcasts look for someone who already has a big audience and say, let's bring him on the show and then we'll get his audience. But Alex Leaf got his start on this show. Adel Musa got his start. Rob Regish got. I find people who have talent and I bring them on the air and I help. And I because I want to help. You know, I just said this to Elisa.
You're looking for new blood, huh?
No, I like to help people. I want to help. I see somebody that I think is talented. I say, you know, he needs a platform. She needs a platform. I'll have her on the show. Dr. Sean Baker, the carnivore diet. The first podcast he did was my podcast. I think it was 2017 when he competed in a deadlifting competition. And we started talking about his views on carnivore. Before he was carnivore, he used to have a website called N equals many. And he was asking people to eat meat only and report their blood work and stuff on the website. Nobody knew who Sean Baker was when I had him on the show.
So, and also you're a fan of Mauro Di Pasquale, you know, the powerlifting doctor.
Mauro Di Pasquale was my first interview in November of 2005. Could you imagine that being your first interview? Mauro Di Pasquale?
I mean,
he was my first
diet, yes, the anabolic diet.
First interview. Alan Guri says, awesome show, Carl. Great information. Yeah, always great information when George is on the show.
And actually, it's the only podcast in the States on a weekly basis. Your one, right? On a fitness, huh?
I do 4 to 5, 3 to 5 shows a week, and I've been doing 3 to 5 shows. In fact, I had a kid challenge me one day about some information that we were going back and forth on Instagram. And he said to me, it was on Facebook. And he said to me, you know, what makes you think you know so much? Are you a doctor? What is your degree in and everything? And I said, I've interviewed the most brilliant minds in science and medicine 5 days a week for 16 years.
You're the only one that Patrick Arnold, the brilliant chemist, is so hard to get him in interviews, you know. And you had him, I remember, and I'm telling Patrick, you had the show with Carl. Please, I beg you to be my host.
Right. Yeah, no, I know. But I know. But you know what? I don't know that I'm going to be doing this for a whole lot longer because I'm working on a new business. Really? And I hope to be off the air by 2024. But
you have all the episodes, huh?
I got them all on hard drives. I have except my very first interview. No, I even have my very first interview with Mauro. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I have them all. Tammy DeMarco says she loves Sean Baker, and Sean Wasson says always the top guests. Glad to see the tube numbers growing. I know. We just got a notice from YouTube, something about 30,000 hours of viewing.
Yeah, you have an alternative approach and a perception different than the old-fashioned stubborn, you know. And I like this thing.
So here, So do you know who Len Moskovitz is?
No. It sounds Eastern Europe surname.
Well, Len Moskovitz used to run Metrics. He used to run.
Yes, Metrics. I have written actually an article. I mean, it's posted already in Muscular Development. That is how to avoid hair thinning while on testosterone. And as a matter of fact, it's way more beneficial taking testosterone with anti-androgens, rather than anti-androgens itself. Why? Right. Because according to your talk, testosterone has the side effect of hair growth into the body, right? And hair thinning over here. If you
Right.
block the hair thinning on the scalp, you're going to have the side effect of thicker hair as long as you take the anti-androgens together, you know? Because if you're taking just finasteride, dutasteride, you're screwed with your sex drive, all right? And you're getting a lot of depression. But if you join both of them, you don't have an issue with that.
And that's what he's saying. He says George needs to write an article on hair follicle health while on TRT. What anti-androgen would you use?
So the 5A reductase inhibitors, but the finasteride actually works in number 1 receptor, while dutasteride blocks both 1 and 2 receptors. But because dutasteride is so potent, and actually it chemically castrates,
Right.
and they OD this to rapists, you know,
Right.
because it's chemical. Yeah. So
Right.
you take dutasteride locally, as Chrysler said, in a local solution. You take Peros, the finasteride, you wash your hair with ketoconazole shampoo for Danfour, but it's able to block the DHT, and you apply also the minoxidil foam. And this combination in 6 months, along with testosterone, is going to grow thicker hair, not just avoiding the hair falling, you know. Well, I have good genetics.
Yeah.
But if you're prone to this, you can stop the hair thinning and grow hair again.
Do you know, I have a theory on why men, when they get on HRT, about the first year, they start to notice the hair shedding. And if you look at the molecule of progesterone and you look at the molecule of finasteride, they're almost identical.
Yeah.
And what happens is when you have negative feedback loop, your testicles don't just produce testosterone, they produce progesterone in men too. So when progesterone starts to drop, the hair starts to thin because progesterone is a 5-alpha
I'm taking pregnenolone. They're metabolized to progesterone also.
Right. And you need more progesterone. Men need more progesterone when they're on HRT.
You told me in our first interview you're taking progesterone in order to sleep better. It calms down the nervous system.
Yeah, but men don't need too much. They're very, very
because it kills the sex drive.
Yeah, and bloating, water retention kills the sex drive, and then you feel groggy and moody. A very, very small amount of progesterone is amazing for men, and it keeps them from losing hair to DHT because it blocks 5-alpha reductase.
Yes,
and you know, I think it's safer than finasteride and any of these DHT blockers. Anyway, George, it's been wonderful to have you today. You look better than ever.
Thank you.
You look so good. God bless you. All right, we'll talk soon, okay?
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care. All right, we're going to take one quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about men's underwear. Why? Because you know what? Women spend a lot of time and money on their underwear because they want to look good when they're naked or almost naked. But guys are like, I bet you anything, the guys listening to this show right now have a pair of underwear in their drawer that's better than 5-6 years old. And they're torn, they're straggly looking, they're disgusting. So we're gonna talk about this phenomenon when we come back. Stay tuned. You are watching and listening to Superhuman Radio. We will be right back. The Hercules Pre-Workout from Lost Empire Herbs is like no pre-workout you have ever had before. Completely natural formula designed specifically to optimize workouts, provide quicker recovery time, provide adequate nutrition, and get you away from all those no-good, overstimulating pre-workout supplements on the market today. The Hercules Pre-Workout blend is a mix of extracted natural herbs and mineral pitch. No fake colors, no added flavors, nothing else. Not only will Hercules Pre-Workout formula help your workouts, but you'll likely discover lots and lots of side effects, beneficial side effects. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Lost Empire today to learn more. Remember those rectangular toaster pastries you used to love when you were a kid? Well, Legendary Foods has just made them better. The new cake-style tasty pastry is like nothing you've ever had before. With 20 grams of high-quality protein and less than 1 gram of sugar, you'll feel like you're cheating, but you're not. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use the code SHR10 to save 10% 10% off your purchase of tasty pastries. Now available in cookies and cream, red velvet cake, birthday cake, blueberry, strawberry, brown sugar cinnamon, and hot fudge sundae. Go to shrnetwork.biz/legendary and use code SHR10 today. There have been no new innovations in men's underwear for hundreds of years. That's all about to change with Sheath. Sheath creates 2 separate compartments for your man stuff so it doesn't get smashed into a mound and sweaty and stinky. I won't wear any other underwear now that I've learned about Sheath, and you won't either. Go to shrnetwork.biz/Sheath underwear. That's SHEATHUNDERWEAR. Use code SUPERHUMAN to save 20% off. I promise you, once you try a pair of Sheath underwear, you will never wear anything else. Never before has a product been so appropriately named as Botanic Tonics Feel Free. This plant-based elixir combines a variety of different effective compounds, all from raw plant materials that at different doses provide you with completely different experiences. A third of a bottle puts you in the zone and makes you very focused and is ideal for a non-stimulating pre-workout. It also has a mild analgesic effect for us older lifters who have soreness and little pains and aches that keep us from training as ferociously as we want. A half a bottle will create a mild euphoric effect that will allow you to forego consuming alcohol but still be socially lubricated and have fun. I have never had a product deliver on its name the way Botanic Tonics Feel Free does, and I won't ever be without it, and you shouldn't either. Go to shrnetwork.biz/feelfree and use the code SHR40 for 40% off your first order. I promise you, you will not be disappointed.
New Mass Pro Synthogen X2 just upped its own legendary game. To distance itself even further from the rest of the pack, Synthogen X2 now has double the key active ingredients. If you've ever wondered what steroid-like recovery feels like, Synthogen X2 delivers. See why others compare it favorably to powerful bodybuilding drugs at synthogen.com. Mass Pro Synthogen. When you train with it, you'll gain with it.
Are you 35 or older? Every year after puberty, your growth hormone decreases sometimes by 50% by the age of 35, and it only keeps going down from there. This affects everything from making it harder to recover from workouts, sleep, and a general loss of a sense of well-being. It also affects your ability to get and stay lean. BioPro Plus is the first of its kind, 100% non-synthetic alternative to prescription synthetic growth hormone treatments. All the benefits without any of the needles or side effects and 100% safe. Previously only available through doctors, you can go to shrnetwork.biz/biopro, that's BIOPRO, and use code SHR30 for $30 off today.
You're listening to the Superhuman Channel. Don't hate us because we feel good.
Hey.
Welcome back. We're joined by Robert Patton.
Hey.
And Robert is the brains behind Sheath underwear.
And
for those of you and the Braun, for those of you who aren't aware about Sheath underwear, they're a game changer in men's underwear. In fact, if there's women listening to this show today, you need to step up and buy them for your husband, and I'll tell you why. I go to Victoria's Secrets all the time and pick up new thongs for Lisa. Why? Because I'm the one who's going to enjoy them. Watch you go strut around in them. And I do this pretty regularly. You know, I go and I see what new styles they have, and I pick them up. And the reality is, you got to be tired of your man wearing those same tighty whities or torn up underwear that he refuses to throw away. So you got to step in and do something for your man. You got to step in and get him these underwear. And the reason you got to get him these underwear is because they have a double compartment where your man stuff goes that allows you to separate the parts, okay? Instead of just smashing it all into one spot. And it lets blood flow is better, and you don't sweat as much, and they do make you look bigger. They definitely do. I mean, I'm not selling this as the Spanx for men, but it's nice to look. When your wife looks in, you goes, "Wow, your package looks so big," and that's like, "Wow."
It accentuates what's going on down there.
It does. It separates things, but it separates them. Remember, from an evolutionary perspective, our stuff dangled free,
Yes.
you know, and then we decided that we needed underwear, and it's like vacuum sealing your stuff to your body.
Package. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks.
That's
And now there's
uncomfortable.
and why do you think guys refuse to buy new underwear?
You know, it's like probably the last thing on the list of priorities, especially with gas and food and taking care of your families or whatever. But it really, a lot of guys will say once they've tried these that it changed their life. And I don't like to get too hyperbolic, but a lot of people have said it. So it's made like massive improvements to their confidence. You know, the women will say are very complimentary of the men who are wearing them, and we all want that, definitely. But the most like important aspect of the underwear is supposed to just be like comfort. You know, I was in Iraq, 2008, hotter than the devil's down parts, and that's where every man has experienced the stickage and the discomfort of heat over a long period of time down there.
You know what's classic move on a guy is like when he throws one leg out and kind of shakes a little bit before he puts it down and start walking again.
Yeah, the chicken dance.
Yeah, he's trying to like get things to separate.
Yes,
these underwear keep you separated. It's amazing. It's amazing.
We're very lucky. I mean, like not lucky. It's been a decade of putting it out there and getting the word out there. And it's really so cool to have guys like you and UFC champion of the world, Brandon Moreno, and like best-selling authors and all these really highly respected guys that are, you know, down with it. They like it. They promote it and really wear it.
But you know what it is? I'm going to tell you something what it is. Like guys are listening to this right now and they're thinking, oh yeah, you know, come on. How much of a change can a pair of underwear? Like, come on. And that's what they're thinking. Like, okay, we get it. You're trying to sell these, Carl. No. I'm telling you that these are game-changing underwear. They and you can't understand it until you drop the marbles in the little satchel that's built into the inside. Yep. And then the other thing sticks out and has its own like little area. And it's like, wow, this is really the way your stuff is supposed to be. It's supposed to be separated.
Yeah, and you don't know until you try it, and so it's hard to get guys set in their ways, maybe to try new things, and so we've been just really doing our best to promote it through highly respected individuals like yourself. And get people to just try it. And we have 100% money back guarantee on the first pair. So if you don't like it, you don't have to send them back. Just call us, just email us. We'll give you your refund. And, you know, we appreciate you giving us a shot. That's all we're asking for is a shot at being your next pair of underwear.
Yeah. And I really think that women need to step up and buy them for their husbands. Yeah, I really do. Because you know, guys, like we don't, if you're like me, I don't like to spend money. Wait. I'll spend money on my motorcycle, you know, rebuilding it and stuff like that. But it's like underwear. No, I don't. But then I go out and I buy thongs for Elisa because they look so good on her. And guys need to start thinking about their appearance more. Just because you're married doesn't mean that she is happy with the person you've morphed into.
Yeah, don't let yourself go. You know, you want to stay sexy for your significant other on both sides so that, you know, you keep things spicy.
So you've got some new underwear now, right? They're like, you came out with some new styles. They're so
we're very happy with the new, like quite a few new releases, but these bamboo pairs have really been flying off the shelf. It's kind of crazy because they're priced higher, but people, for whatever reason, it's a natural fabric. It's anti-moisture wicking, antimicrobial, all these natural properties to keep you stay comfortable longer. And so we got the bamboo. We got this thing that's called the G6, which is kind of a play off the airplane and the song. There's like a rap song, Fly Like a G6. But it's also the 6th generational development of sheath, you know, like the iPhone 10 or whatever. We're at the 6 now, and it's a horizontal fly, so it's a single pouch. It does not have the dual pouch, but it has the main pouch, but it has this horizontal fly, and it's just people like different styles, so we try to accommodate as many people as we can when the people request new features.
Yeah. And I like the styles. First of all, the material is great that you use. You know, it's like
so good.
It's supportive, but it's not like thick and uncomfortable. You know? But
it breathes.
It breathes really well. It breathes really, really well because I work in them, and then I ride my bike in them. And one of the things that when I ride my bike on some of these days like today, it's 92 degrees out. By the time I get home, I'm sticky and sweaty between the heat from the motorcycle coming up at me and the sun coming down at me. But it used to be the first thing I want to do is get my underwear off, but I don't feel that way anymore.
I love that. Yeah, because then it's just a big old like a hot mess down there. It's not that comfortable. I really appreciate you having me on here. I don't know. I have a question. It's kind of like so similar as well. Anyways, so I take TRT, and I do like a little HGH and a little HCG, and I mean, it's pretty cool that it seems like your radio show kind of is not geared towards that, but like.
We're geared towards it. We are. Yeah.
And that, the benefits, I've been doing it for like since I was 35, so almost 10 years now, and I'm like staying strong. And I don't even know what my question was, other than, well, here's what my question was. This trend came up. It's called Trenbolone. And I have a bottle, and my friend was like, don't do it, and you're going to turn into an animal or something.
No. Okay. So first of all, you're not going to turn into an animal, but why? So are you not seeing the results from your testosterone and your HCG and your HGH?
I feel like I'm pretty satisfied. So I only got it because I heard about it and it was available.
It's nasty. So in fact, I used Tren for probably the better part of 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
I used Tren enanthate. There's Tren Ace, which is short-lived. It's every couple days you have to inject it. But Tren enanthate lasts like testosterone cypionate does, 28 days. And Tren enanthate is a bit more severe in the side effects. The side effects include your sleep will be wrecked. You will sweat in your sleep like hot flashes, like women get. You'll always feel like you're on the verge of coming down with something. Like I remember days where I walked into the gym and it was going to be a heavy deadlift session. And I thought to myself, man, I feel like I'm getting the flu. And I've always said this, and I'm not saying this to entice people to use Trenbolone, but it's the truth. Trenbolone takes your body hostage. It's like, I don't feel like doing this work. And the Tren is like, fuck you, you're doing it. And I mean, I was never stronger than when I was using both Trenbolone and testosterone, and I was using some orals too. But I mean, I would go into the gym and pull 650 pounds off the floor like it was nothing. And I didn't feel good on top of it. Like on top of that, I was like, man, I feel like shit all the time. So that is what, for some reason, attracts people to Tren. You remember you had a friend who was an asshole, and when he drank beer, he was a bigger asshole. Mm-hmm. Okay, we all have those friends, right? Yeah. Well, if you have a touch of antisocial assholeness to you and you use Tren, you become a real asshole. I never got violent on it. I never became an asshole. But the people who use Tren use it. I shouldn't say all people. Those people who use Tren, who have character flaws, use it for the same reason that somebody buys a pit bull, so everybody will be afraid of them.
Oh, okay.
I'm on Tren, man. I'm on Tren. but it's nasty. It's very, very strong. And there are a couple studies now out that show that it could promote dementia.
Oh no, I don't need that.
Now, it could be promoting dementia because of the sleep disturbance. Because we know if you don't sleep well, you're prone to dementia.
Yeah.
We haven't teased it out yet, but I would not recommend anyone use it unless you are a professional strength athlete. You're doing strongman competitions, you're a power lifter, and you just want to break some records and then back out and be done with it. Then I would say, yeah, it's worth the risk. But at my age, at 64, I wouldn't use Tren. I wouldn't do cocaine anymore, and I wouldn't use Trenbolone anymore because I'm at 64. There's some shit that's broken in me that I don't know about, and I don't want to find out about it by pushing myself.
Yeah, I did the cocaine back in the day, and I'm 44, and I try to. I haven't. It's been 20 years or whatever, and I try to keep it that way. And but like. So you still do like TRT?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I am
just talking about that.
I'm on my own TRT regimen, but I'm going to back it down after talking to Dr.
Interesting. I do like 3 cc's twice a week of like the C cyprate or something instead of the
Cypionate. So how many milligrams a week are you totaling?
I think
600.
Well, it's one of those insulin needles, so whatever 3 is.
Oh yeah, that's very low. So okay. I'm doing 2. I have testosterone 400.
I have 300.
And 250. And so I'm doing 2 cc's of that, and I'm doing a half a cc of Deca. Which is just 150 milligrams. So I'm doing 600 milligrams of testosterone and 150 milligrams of Deca a week, but I'm gonna back it down to 250 of test and 50 of Deca under George Touliatos' advice.
Yeah, you have some really amazing guests, and then so it's something you can do. I feel like Stallone is still doing it, and he's like 70, and he looks fucking amazing.
Yeah, I don't think people would say to me, "Well, you're not going to be able to do this for the rest of your life," and I'll say, "Why not?"
Yeah, okay, good.
Well, oh no, like there's an age that you'll hit where you'll go, "Yeah, I really want to feel like shit now."
Yeah,
I'm 70. I want to feel like I'm 90, so I'm gonna. Yeah. I'm going to use it until the day I die.
Okay, good. Because that's kind of what I was thinking for myself, but I wasn't sure. And it's been, it's already been 10 years, but I feel great. I feel fabulous. So I didn't want to take us too far off the rails, but I did want to question your expertise there briefly.
I've been on since 2007. I was using performance enhancing drugs before that, but my testosterone levels didn't come back. And so I had to make the decision, like, do I want to live feeling like shit, or do I want to bring my testosterone levels back? And that's what made me go on for the rest of my life. So.
Good. Yeah. I mean, well, I'm just trying to live optimally and have, I don't want to age. I mean, I'm trying to like fight the dying light or whatever.
Yeah, you should rage against the machine. I'm a big believer in that. In fact, who's that doctor? Now I can't think of his name, but it'll come to me. These people that say, "Oh, learn to age gracefully." I'm like, fuck that. Yeah. Learn. They don't use that. Oh, you got cancer. Learn to live with cancer gracefully. No, fuck that too. Like, I'm gonna fight till the day I die against dying.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, me too. And I there's technology. It's out there. All these methods are, whatever you want to call it. And so as they come out, I'll get a battery. Somebody develops a battery that can plug into my back that'll keep me the Energizer Bunny. I'll probably be one of those guys that tries it.
Yeah, of course. Andrew Weil, Dr. Andrew Weil, everybody loved him. And he promotes this idea that, no, you're going to age, get used to it, like, be cool with it. I'm like, fuck you. I don't want to fucking age. I want to feel, I still train really heavy, much heavier than most 64-year-olds. I'll guarantee you that. And I'm not saying, oh, well, when I turn 66, I'm going to lighten up. No, fuck that. I'm going to keep pushing.
Might as well. Rage against the dying of the light.
Yeah. So let's promote the product one more time. Okay?
Yes.
Because look, you know what? This is a tough time for small business owners.
Oh yeah.
This situation we have here in the United States today is taking its toll on everybody, even this show. And so you have to be selective who you spend your money with. I understand that. And you have to be selective what you spend your money on. But you are never going to find a better, more unique pair of underwear for a man than Sheath underwear. shrnetwork.biz/Sheath underwear. SHEATHUNDERWEAR. And save 20% by using the code SUPERHUMAN. Look, if this show does things for you, then you have to patronize the sponsors because they make the show possible. And we're asking you to patronize Sheath underwear today. And if women are listening to the show, buy your man a couple pair, and he will say, "Oh my God, where did you get these? I need more. I don't want to wear them Monday and Tuesday and then go the rest of the week with old-fashioned underwear anymore."
Absolutely. It happens all the time. And we have over 20,000 5-star reviews, hundreds of thousands of customers that we are being as everyone is being affected by the economy and stuff. We really do appreciate that, and just noticing that, and giving an extra shout out. Just give us a chance. Again, we have that money back guarantee. We don't think you'll need it. That's how confident we are, but we definitely honor it.
I mean, really, think about this. You buy them, they suck.
Yeah.
They suck. You call up and they give you your money back, and you keep the sucky underwear anyway.
We get 10 emails a day, and it's usually somebody that ordered the wrong size or something. But every now and then somebody's asking for their money back, and we will not hassle you. It's because it's so rare that it's no problem. We will give you your money back and keep you. We don't want anybody having a bad taste in their mouth when it comes to dealing with us.
So Sheath underwear, give them a try, and patronize the sponsors of this show whenever possible. All right, look,
Carl.
I'm going to do my monologue. I'm going to let you go, and then I have a monologue to do today.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
And
I'll see. I'll talk soon.
Yeah, very good, very good. So I got to talk about chemtrails, because next to flat earthers, I think chemtrail believers are pretty fucking dumb. So, and I want to do this right. I didn't prepare this, but it just dawned on me this morning. I was riding my motorcycle. I was looking up in the sky, and I see a bunch of jets, and there's no plumes behind them. And that's because the temperature of the air is such that it's not causing condensation from the heat coming out of the back of the jet. And I started thinking, when a car first starts and it's cold, you can see the vapor coming out, right? Because the tailpipe, the exhaust system isn't warm enough yet, and that the warm exhaust and the coolness of the exhaust system creates condensation, and you see that smoke. No one ever said to me, "Oh, these cars are making chemtrails." And so the phenomenon that you see is just condensation in the air. And when you have a day where the air is very, very cold up there, you get more of this condensation from every airplane in the sky. And I want to point this out. The coordination it would take for airlines to be dropping chemicals on us, like crop dusters, like every single airline would have to be down with it, because every single plane that flies overhead during those conditions that I just detailed leave vapor in the sky. But more importantly, Do you realize how much it costs? Okay, I'll give you an example. A 6-pack of Coca-Colas on a plane that flies from New York to California twice a day. Flies there, flies back. Over the course of the year, costs that airline over $60,000 to transport back and forth. And we're talking about a case of Coca-Cola, 4 6-packs, $64,000 in fuel costs to fly that back and forth. Do you really think that airliners are going to have a secret tank? Because they can't mix it with the gasoline, whatever these chemicals that you believe that they're dropping on us. They'd have to have separate tanks that are spraying this stuff into the air. Do you realize what it would cost for these big tanks to be installed and filled up with those chemicals that you believe that they're dropping on you? I mean, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. And who's coordinating this? Who's calling up the president of Delta and the president of Southwest and all these companies that say, hey, we need you to poison the American people. We're going to need you to drop these chemicals on them. Like, you have to be, I'm sorry, you have to be a fucking nitwit to believe that that's chemtrails. Now, if you're saying to me, oh, yeah, it's spent exhaust from jet fuel, and that's not good, I'm down with that. But that's happening even when it doesn't leave the chemtrails in the sky. That's happening all the time. It's exhaust. It's burnt fuel. But this idea that there's a coordinated effort to harm people and the major airline industry is in on it and coordinating it and dropping chemicals on the people in this country, like how far? I guess you would be a flat earther too. You'd probably say, oh, and then the earth is flat, even though I can see that jet go into the horizon and disappear, but the earth is flat. Chemtrails is bullshit. It's nitwit stuff. Do not pass that information along to people because it's not happening. Okay, granted, pollution from jets, yeah, I believe that. You're burning jet fuel. Just like cars on the ground, they're burning gasoline and the exhaust is coming out. But there is no coordinated effort to poison people with a crop dusting campaign by every major airline in the country. So don't say that. And I'll tell you something. If you know somebody who believes in chemtrails, put some distance between you and them, because they don't have the critical thinking skills to get themselves out of a brown paper bag if they have to. And that's it. That's all I'm going to say. And if you don't like what I'm saying, I'm not going to apologize because you're a fucking asshole. That's it. All right. That's it for today. We have Rob Regish is coming on tomorrow to do the Blueprint Power Hour. We moved him from Tuesday to Thursday this week. So don't miss that. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Don't forget, share the show. You never know who you're going to help or who you're going to insult with my monologue. And we'll see you tomorrow with more Superhuman Radio.